All right, let's see what we can do. So for this one, we got two values we got to deal with. One's going to be the predecessor. The other's going to be time. So we'll say, generally speaking, you know how long it takes to do certain tasks, right? How long does it take to make a ham sandwich? How long does it take to wash your car? How long does it take to cut the grass? So you've got an idea how long it should take to perform a certain task. If it's just you. Half a day, we can look at it by the day, we can look at it by the hour. That's what is going to go here. Now, we're going to enter them in by hours. That'll be our standard unit of measure, how many hours, because most of the people that we're going to contract are going to be by the hour, and we're looking at hours in a day. Remember how many hours in a day we had when we set it up? It's a standard work weeks, 8-hour day. From that, we just need to set what happens in a certain sequence. So the predecessors are our sequence. Now those numbers mean something. Each one of those numbers means something to the system. It knows that if we're talking about task number 4, we come over here, review project request. That's what number 4 is. There's a couple of ways I can go about it. I could just straight enter that number 4 in there, and it knows what I'm talking about. Or go about it a little bit differently. Now, that is task number 5. I come over task number 5, establish preliminary justification. In the predecessors, I double click in there. So here's my screen that I get that is talking about all the little ins and outs associated with that task, not just the predecessor aspect of it, but everything about that task as it exists now. When does it start? When does it finish? If I want to hard code that, I can hard code it by manually scheduling it and set the dates. Right now, it's automatically going to do that based on the sequencing that we set in. Now, one of the things that I think you asked the other day, what was that FS 5, FS plus 7? There was something like that. I can't remember who asked. I'll get to that in a second. But here's the general stuff, the name of whatever that task is. It's about the same kind of interface that we saw before when we created the task. So predecessors. Predecessor for this one was what? Task number 4. As soon as I take focus away from it, it knows, if you're talking about 4, that's the review project request task. We do things, the way this works out, they're saying finish to start. We do things start to finish, right? This thing is not looking at it as I'm about to do it. It's looking at it from the standpoint as look back. So this task is essentially after the other one, right? So if you're looking back in time, you don't look back and see the start. You look back and you see the end onto the beginning. So we're looking back and we're saying, all right, from finish to start on that, do we need a lag? And for this one, there's no lag, but we need some time. How much time did we have associated with that task? We can come over and look. 8 hours. Day, 8 hours. Let's say $8 hours. 7 hours. 8 hours. So I can go and modify it. It'll automatically pick it up. Know what I'm talking about once I've started playing with hours instead of days. It defaulted to days because that was all we were working with up to this point. When we looked, we saw day, approximately 1 day. Now we're looking at hours. It's automatically going to schedule based on whatever we've done. The predecessor's there. We have no lag time associated with this. I say, okay, and now it's there. 8 hours, predecessor 4. Now, shift this just a little bit. So next, we'll go to task 6. Click in there. That one's got to have task number 5 done beforehand. And there is, go to general. $32 hours. I click down and back up, it'll automatically take that for me. So now we've got 32 hours. The predecessor is number 5. It's not so much of a struggle at this point. It's just a matter of, okay, which one has to happen beforehand? Now, has anything changed as a result of these two? This thing's automatically shifting. It's automatically updating, saying, wait a minute, we've got stuff taking place in here, so now it's not going to take 1 day. This one is up to 6 days. So we're still working on this one. So we've got 5. We'll skip 1, come down to task 8. Task 8, 48 hours. 2 days. Or is it? Is 48 hours 2 days? No. Why?
Because 8-hour work days.
That's it. So keep that in mind. It's easy to get caught up with that. Somebody said, well, it takes 48 hours. That's 2 days, isn't it? Yeah, that's 2 days if you're working straight through it. We're not working straight through. We're working in specific time that is working time. Go to predecessors, and that's 5. Still no lag time. Now, do I have to go over and do it over there? Yeah, it won't let me into the duration on the predecessor page. I'm over here. It's not letting me in.
Is it because you have roll up check? Hold on.
Oh. Skip down a little bit and then see if I can come back to it. 12. 12 is going to be 12 hours. Predecessors 10 and 11. Check there.
Is it because it's a major tab that you can't change
No,
it?
it shouldn't be.
Or is it because it's auto scheduled?
It's going to, that'll automatically go in the amount of time. That's my bad there. Because that one's a higher level, the time will automatically calculate for it. One thing there. So as we do these that are within it, this one will automatically calculate because it's a parent of sorts. Now, I did the wrong one, that was 9, wasn't it? 8. Five, 8, 10, 11, 12.
Hours. So for any of the parent tabs, you can't change the.
You don't have to worry about the time because the most it's cool that it said it that way, the parent tabs. Who dictates the parent's schedule? The kids.
Makes sense.
Couldn't understand why my kid didn't want to get his driver's license for years. She was 20 before he finally got his driver's license. I went 16. What I needed it for. I don't even drive anywhere. How you gonna get there? So this one, analyze existing system. We've got predecessor in there. Do one. Let's see. Go to 16. Number 15 is the predecessor. $16. Okay. 16.
Hours.
Get tedious yet?
No, that's very simple.
It's monotonous in that you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, just in a slightly different context, but it's the same thing over and over again. But with that said, not to it, but to do it. It's not that it's necessarily difficult, just going through those motions. So look over here. Requirements phase, it's 40 hours, 40.38 days. I've only got 20.25 days. Why is that? Not through that whole phase yet. Oh my God, maybe my toes wet at that. We still have more to get through. So far, down to 19. Next page. Got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. We've reached the end of that one phase. Not so bad. Come down to 26. That's the next parent grouping, if you will, of tasks. So that's the validate one. 6. 19 is the predecessor. Screw everything up. Like I just went in and accidentally started typing in the name and overwrote it, just cancel out. Screw it, if you did, it would just go away. Didn't need. Six, 28, 29, both need 27. Hours. Hours. Down we've got numbers 28 and 29. Cool that we can go in going and just by the number, it automatically populates. You don't have to go write that crap over and over and over again. Entered it the one time, and we got an easy way of doing that because we already had it somewhere else. We copy and paste it. But that doesn't happen all too often. So that front end, having to build out these tasks and the logical groupings, there's a lot of time involved in that. Just about through. Now it's letting me do it all on one page. Wants a task in the logical grouping before you jump out. Make that logical grouping have to start before the previous one. Now, almost through this whole damn phase. 26, 31, there's 33. $4 hours. So 35 days there. This says 40.38 days. And they're still not matching up. Why do you think they're not matching up? I went in and said, this is how many hours it's going to take to get this task done. Here's what has to happen before we even do this task. So if I got all the hours in there that it's gonna take to do it, should it match up with what I've got over here? Should,
Yeah.
should. Oh, I've got one thing that we need to put in. That is on phase 2, a logical phase says 2 FS plus 7 days. See if it'll let me jump in there. Now, it wants something in there first. So I'll come down to 41. Set a predecessor for 41 at task 40, 20 hours. Now I can come back to that upper level grouping of phase 2. Double click it. Now for it, it says 2 FS plus 7 days. I think that means task 2, finish to start, plus 7 days, meaning we need to wait 7 days after task 2 has finished before it starts. Task 2, that was phase 1. So phase 1 has to go all the way through its entire evolution. Everything's got to get done. And then another 7 days has to transpire before that second phase even starts. Why would you put in a week-long buffer in between one phase and the next?
Something had to happen, then you had to give it time.
You may not even know what the hell that thing was. That's the caveat. Things come up. We need to test, make sure that everything about phase 1 happened the way that we wanted it to happen. Lag time, put in there 7 days. So this is task 2. Finish to start, 7 days. For the lag. See, okay. Come back. How do I look? It says I've got 35 days. I've got something going on in my calculations here for the specific days. Because if I look at over here on the left, says that requirements funding takes 7.75 days. Starting to think my working time might be a little bit off. Holidays, something got messed up in there. Because that little bit of time where this is 8 days, this one's 7.75. It's a quarter of a day. Is that a lot of time? It is on a Friday afternoon if you don't want to be at work. Quarter of a day, it's 2 hours. We're getting this thing done on the left side 2 hours faster in that one grouping than we did over here. Let's see.
Still have, number 4, you didn't put the hours in.
Number 4, there it is. Let's jump in there. General.
6 hours. Number 7.
Got a bunch of them that I didn't put any time in. I just went in and put in time for the things that had predecessors associated with it. So we still have time that has to take place. So this one's number 7, 8 hours. Interview. 16. Wait a minute, that's a lot of hours. Now my time's straight there for requirements Monday, 7.75 days. So it's knocking that out. Sam operating. Simple. 5 hours. So is it making sense, that whole concept of, let's go find out where the issues exist? Because that's where you saw it. Let's go look at a group and see that one group. What's up, Scott?
What does the roll up do when you check them back
So
up?
roll up means that, so we've got roll up on the logical groupings. And that pretty much means that we're gonna take everything that's inside or under that umbrella and roll it all up. Kind of add it up, if you will, calculate it to say, how long does it take to do this? So we're in here, so from 18 to 15, those tasks are all underneath the umbrella of task number 14. Safe to say that?
Yeah.
So anything that happens from 15 to 18, time-wise, becomes a result that we see in 14. Then you could take 14, and 14 will roll up along with 9 and the other subgroupings or logical groupings. They will then roll up to the phase itself, which is just saying that it's going to be part of something else,
So
the next level up.
so we are taking all the logical groupings and put them as roll ups and just adding up all the other
It
time.
automatically happens for us. So, got left. There's a lot of 18 H's in there. I'll paste those over and over again. Said it so many times. Not being lazy by doing this copy paste, reusing something that I already created. It's being efficient. I go type it over and over and over again. I want to be as efficient as I can. I want my code to be efficient. I want the jobs to be efficient. So we get to number 24. Hours. Almost there. 2 left. 35. 6. 42. Last one. For this phase. in days, not hours. Hours. It rolls up right now. Got 40.38 days for that phase, 40.38 days for the phase. If something's off, just go down and look into those logical groupings to see what's off. And then go to the specific tasks that are in there. Go through them one by one. Now I see what the problem is. So at this point, we know, based on the little bit that we've input, right, yeah, it does seem to be a lot. But a little bit that we input just for this one phase, we know that this thing's gonna take at least 41 days to get done. Now, are those 41, right, just shy of 41? Those 41 sequential days, the work days, look here. So that's going from the middle of November damn near the end of January. Is that calendar days or work days?
Say it again, sorry. Work days.
That's work days. Because from the middle of November till almost the end of January, you're talking just shy of 2.5 months. How many days is 2.5 months?
60 plus days.
70-ish, 70, 75 days. In 2.5 months. That's calendar days. So this is work days. You gotta keep thinking about things in work time, working days, work time. How many days is that gonna take? 5 days. 5 days from Thursday. That's Thursday, Friday. Are we getting holidays in there too? All that stuff comes into play. In business and in stuff like this, you're gonna see phrases used like by COB. What does COB mean? It's kind of like EOD. EOD, end of day. It's the end of the workday, not 11:59 or midnight. It's when we're done working. If it's a standard, traditional 9 to 5-ish kind of job, COB, close of business that day. We're done working, let's head on. Well, I sent that to you. When did you send it to me? About 7:30. I'm watching Netflix with my feet up, my dog on my lap. I'm not checking my email. I am, but most people aren't. So with this, let's look at the, remember I said that 10,000 foot view the other day? Let's take a step up, expand up, and look at what we did and what we can do from here. Now, I don't mean, well, you can go do the next 4 or 5 phases. Yeah, that's true. It's nothing to it but to do it, and it's not a ton of homework. These are actual heavyweight projects. So it's not like you're not getting something out of it, grade-wise. That redundant, doing it over and over again, it sticks. At this point, do you know what F to S means, or FS plus 7 days means? The task that's involved, finish to start, plus however many days. Why do we need to have that lag in there? Due to occurs. happens, bad things happen, rain, whatever it may be, if we build a buffer in there now, we build in and take into consideration that something gonna happen. I don't want to expect best case scenario all the time. We hope for the best and we plan for the worst, right? I'm ready for that bad stuff to happen. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. With this, I got extra 7 days in there I can play with if I want. So if somebody says, hey, can you shorten that up a little bit? I got some time I can play with in there. Need to shave the day off? I got 7 days, 7 work days. That don't mean Monday to Sunday, 7 days. That means Monday all the way through the following Tuesday. So with that said, up there in that 10,000 foot view, predecessors let us know what has to happen before you can start doing something else. We kind of talked about it a little bit the other day. I was talking about, you ever go to make a sandwich? Damn, we don't even have any bread. Happens. I want a grilled cheese sandwich. What do you mean we're out of cheese? I want a grilled cheese sandwich. I'm always joking about making a grilled cheese sandwich. You're having problems with your programming code. It ain't working. You just can't figure it out. Leave it sit there. Go walk in the kitchen. Make yourself a nice little grilled ham, cheese, and tomato sandwich. Sit down and have something to drink with it. And you come back and you've got a fresh look at what you're dealing with. Let that scotoma that you didn't see, let it go. So with this, looking up at that high level view, we've got the sequencing of things in play. We've got it built in. We know what has to happen before something else. We'll just treat this now like we've gone and done all of those. So let's assume all the predecessors have been input. All of the working time is right. We know the working time is right because these days are matching up. How do I know that? How do I know the working time is right? Just because the days are matching up. It's not showing up the same starting dates. I have something wrong in there. Says the whole thing starts on 10/30/18. This one says it starts on 11/15/18. Remember where we go to go look at that?
Project, take work time.
No.
Project.
Project information. And oh, it wasn't there.
We go to the project information.
This one got the start date 10/30/18. So my date's right. And working time. Got some things probably a little funny on my working time. Just don't know at this point what exactly it is, but I can go in and dig and look to see what have I got? What have I got all? Now, the entire duration, the number of working days is right. So I know that my time's right. I know that my predecessors are right. But for some reason, my calendar's off. This one's saying I'm starting 2 weeks later than this one says. I've got something's off in there, just a little bit. The whole thing's getting delayed at the beginning for some reason. Look. Start. No, I don't want to start there. This should be October. What do we have? This is the 30th.
Yes.
My auto schedule. There we go. So my auto schedule finishes off because look at it again. Oh well. Now we're close. Now we're close. We say we're cooking gas. Why is the finish different? Starts right, but my finish is off. My finish is off because I still have those other phases to get the predecessors to get the durations in. Once those predecessors durations roll in, that should match up, start and finish. Right on that line. Now, let's assume we have stuck on the back of the car. Let's assume that we've got all the predecessors in. We've got all the durations are in. Everything matches, so we know we did what we're supposed to do for this entire phase of your part. Now, I call this phase 2 of your project. It's not phase 2 of this project. Phase 2 of this project, that's down here. Phase 2 of your project, phase 1 was, let's go set the work breakout structure up, put the tasks in. Got the logical groupings all there? No, that's phase 1. Phase 2 is what we're working on today. Let's get the predecessors in. Let's get the durations in. How long is it going to take to get these things done? What's got to happen before what? There's phase 2. Once that's done out of the way, what are we going to do next? This was the scheduling part of it. That's what this was. What we just did was the scheduling. How long is it going to take? And what's the sequence? We scheduled automatically what's going to happen. What's next? Who's going to do this stuff? How much are we going to have to pay them? Now, that's where we could start throwing money at these tasks, and things will potentially happen faster, or we could spend more money than we thought we were going to spend if we're not paying attention to what we're doing. So at this point, we've got the structures there, and we're keeping track of time. Remember I said there's different ways we look at how efficient and effective we are. One is, are we doing things in a timely manner, not wasting time? That's what this was. The next part is going to be not the time resource, but the human resources and the financial resources. The amount of money we have to throw at a task, that's money, that's finance. I don't want to waste money. Talked about that the other day with budget. So that's where we're going to go next for this, is the budget side. It's not brutal, it really is. But now I come over to say task, I want a view. my network diagram. I mentioned that red line. That red line is a big deal. Remember what I call the red line? It's a critical path. Anything that exists or resides on that path has to happen in a specific sequence. Those are the things that if I want to throw more money at it, I want to throw more resources at it to try and shrink down the duration of that task. That's where I'm going to get some bang for my buck. Take a step back, look back where we were. Tracking again. Not tracking again. It's 32 hours. 32 hours is how many days? We're looking at what, about 8-hour days. So it's about 3 days, 4 days. 4 days to do that one task, but we put it in hours. Does that necessarily mean that I have to take 4 days? What if I assign resources to this to complete 32 hours worth of work in 1 day? I have 4 people doing the same work. It's not true economies of scale. But we'll say 4 people, each work 8 hours. That's 32 hours worth of work we got done in 1 day. That works. Hell, if I had 1 person, let me get 3 more people in here, and I just shaved 3 days, working days, off that schedule. Just by throwing some more money in it. Did I really throw more money in it? Think about that. Did I throw more money in it? Paying 1 guy to work 4 days, or 4 guys to work 1 day? It's about the same. Because they're all making the same salary, the same rate.
Yes.
So it could, I'll just throw some more money. It doesn't always work that way. There's some things that we can throw money at, it doesn't change anything. I can have 4 guys there all at the same time. It's not going to change anything because it's still going to take that much time. It's not on the critical path. So many things can come into play. But at least we can go in and do these what if scenarios. Do some more money in this task with 3 guys. Uh-oh. What happens if only 1 showed up? There's a flip side. Well, I had those 7 days packaged in there. Because that could come up and bite me. Somebody doesn't show up for work. We're assuming everything's going to happen, but it doesn't always play out that way. Now, this.